What's up everyone, Renfail here. Welcome back to the channel if you're a returning visitor. If you're brand new, welcome aboard. Today we're going to be doing our final review of Lost Ark, which is a game that I've been dabbling in over the past couple of weeks ever since my initial first impressions video. It's a top-down action RPG ported over from the east to the west. Some of you love this game, some of you dislike this game, some of you are in between, some of you have never played it before. So I've been sinking my teeth in based on a few people saying, hey, you might like this game, you might want to try it out. And there are some things I like, some things I don't like. We're going to be talking about all of those things today. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And let's go ahead and get logged in and get straight to the review. Alright, so let's start off this review with some of the things that I really like about the game. One of the things I love is the fact that it seamlessly switches between the controller, which I'm using right now, and then I can go over into the mouse and keyboard from there. And I can move around with the mouse and keyboard, I can open up my inventory, you know, drag and drop things around, right click on things, so on and so forth, with my mouse and keyboard. That part of the game works really well. I think that the controls work flawlessly, and that's something that appeals to me because a lot of games don't have controller support, and as someone who's getting older and who has chronic tendonitis in my left hand, I don't like the mouse and keyboard that much anymore because doing WASD kind of kills my wrists and my hands, and so being able to play on a controller is something I really appreciate. But I also appreciate when it's something where I can blend the two, so I can actually do all of my, you know, gameplay with the keypad or with the gamepad and then switch over to mouse and keyboard when I need to. So I like the way this game plays. I like the combat. I think the combat's really good. It's really self-explanatory. It feels good. It looks good. I have no complaints about the combat. The abilities have cool visual effects. Oh yeah. And I think that just the way the game plays overall feels good, and that's always going to be a positive in terms of keeping someone wanting to play the game. Does it continually feel good? Running around on your horse is fun. You know, I like the fact that you sort of can blast through these areas and then drop off if you want to, and come over here and hit this and jump on over, which is kind of fun. It's extremely satisfying. Alright, so we've gotten past that. I think the combat feels really good, the controls feel really good, and I like the blending of the mouse pad and the mouse and keyboard to allow me to switch between the two and get a really smooth game experience. Alright, next up, let's talk about something that I completely do not understand at all, which is the need to have these, like, guitar riffs when I'm traveling somewhere. Like, this makes no sense to me. The Song of Triport, like it's a teleportation song. I don't get that. I also like, here's this pop-up, right, for an engraving system. I've never seen a tutorial for an engraving system ever, and that's something that
will protect this
a little
place.
confused about because they don't seem to have a lot of tutorials, which we'll get into later.
Mountain.
In the meantime, let's head on over here to do a main quest because it's something I wanted to talk about real quick. Just to pop up and go and look at the main quest.
I can't believe these demons are here. May the gods have mercy.
This is going to be one. If you listen to the way they're constantly, when they talk,
They say you can catch the plague by touching strange orbs.
If you listen to the way a lot of the NPCs talk, they're constantly gaspy and out of breath, and that's something that has driven me nuts since I started playing this game. And I don't know if that's just because it's a port to the Western world, and that's just the way this game was designed, But it's definitely something that from a voice acting perspective, if you've watched me stream this game or my first impressions video, I have definitely made fun of that because along with the really bad writing in this game, that constant breathiness and like everybody's always gasping and that kind of stuff, I don't understand it at all. Maybe that's just because I'm old and I don't get into anime and stuff like that, but it's just not something I find appealing. I don't get it. It definitely takes me out of the game. I'm not immersed in it at all. But that's one of the things I wanted
the
to
plague by touching strange orbs.
talk about. Was I wanted to run over here
Saved Pride home from the...
and look at the main
Have you
quest
heard?
here.
Thank you for saving our
Here on
village.
Kumo Mountain.
Demons. Oh no.
Everything's spinning.
Everything's spinning. I'm
The repairs are almost complete.
dumb.
Thank you.
Alright, a whole bunch of stuff just happened from that turn-in. Now, this is going to be one of the things that I'm going to talk a little bit about, which is the fact that I have been completely overwhelmed since I started this game with the fact that nothing has a tutorial attached to it. I have been bombarded with pop-ups and items and things that get thrown into my inventory and like these cards for rosters and all this other stuff without knowing what any of it does. So one of the first things that happened when I logged into the game for the very first time was I had all of these rewards for like logging in, right?
Another round here.
So there's login, and then there's event things, and there's this, and then you go over here, and there's other things that you can click. You can close this down because then they all go into your mailbox. You can claim that and you go, okay, claim item. A gratitude gift, and you get some ancient coins. You obtain a huge amount of silver by selling ancient coins to merchants. At least that one had a little bit of a pop-up to tell me what it was all about. But like, let's go into our mail. A login event reward. Okay, accept all. Now this has just slotted a whole slew of items into my inventory. And some of them, if you right click over, it will tell me what it is. This is the currency used by adventurers when they're trading a bit in auction. Grants 1 Phaon. Okay, well what's a Phaon? I don't know what a Phaon. This gives me 20,000 silver. Okay, silver is fairly straightforward. This is going to give me healing items, buff items. Cool. But this is going to give me a relic item? Well, what's a relic
Nothing
item?
enough to get me drunk.
How do I know what a relic item is? What is a relic item for? I don't know. What about Makoko skins? What the hell is a Makoko skin? I don't know. No one's ever told me what a Makoko skin is. What is a Moko pet? I don't know. No one's ever told me what a Moko pet is. What about a Moko board selection? Nobody's ever told me what that is either. Engraving recipes. I don't know that I've ever been given a tutorial about engraving recipes. What about, this is more of the healing things. So, okay, lots of items get thrown into my inventory on a continual basis, and I've never given any tutorials about them whatsoever. And on top of that, the issue is compounded with the fact that I've been given at the very beginning of the game when I first logged in, they gave me a bunch of titles. Then there's this rapport. Like, what is rapport? I don't know. What, play instrument? What? Emotes? What? Gift delivery? What? What else do we have here that I just don't know anything about and they've never told me anything about?
Nothing enough to get me drunk.
I don't know. What about sheet music? Okay, I've learned a Song of Escape, which by the way plays a guitar just like the Song of Trixion, which I don't really understand why these have guitars attached to them. No one's ever explained why they have guitars. Like there's no in-game lore reason given for why there is a guitar that plays when I'm teleporting somewhere or using a. Okay, these are things that I'm confused about. What about collectibles? There's never been any tutorial about collectibles at all, but I've earned a couple of collectibles because when I was going through my first dungeon, I gathered these Makoko seeds, and it was like, okay. But I think the most confusing to me was like roster information and like roster levels and roster characters, and like I have these like roster cards, and I don't even know how to bring that menu up anymore. If I can find it here, card catalog. Maybe this is the one I'm thinking of. Right. So
Everything's
like,
spinning.
I got a whole bunch of cards at the start of the game, and like several cards in packs, but there's no explanation of what these cards do. What is a deck? I don't know. What does a deck do? There's something in here about sets. So am I supposed to gather sets? And it gives me some sort of a, I don't know. Do I get bonuses for collecting sets? Is this like a mini game? Is it for my character? I don't know. Then there's books, and then there's enhancements and card catalog. And hang on, let's just look at the menu. All of these things, like achievements, are self-explanatory, but like card catalog, roster information, roster info, I don't know anything about that. I haven't even gotten to trade skills yet because the game hasn't even gotten me to that point yet. So I'm still going through the early parts of the game. The combat skills are somewhat self-explanatory, but the way that they level
Everything's
up,
spinning.
it's sort of explained, but it's more like once you get into it and start playing the game a little bit, it makes more sense as you just level something up. Once you've leveled something up, it actually makes sense that what it's doing. But in order for you to do that, you kind of just have to jump in and start playing around with things and be like, oh, okay, I can slot points in here like so, and get, additional abilities for this. Okay, so that's kind of self-explanatory, but going through here and yeah, I want to cancel those changes. Cancel. Hold on. Yes, I want to cancel all the changes. Hey everyone, Renfail here with the commercial part of the video where I say, hey, if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And thanks to all of our supporters here on YouTube and over on Patreon, our highest members, our guild champions, Crazy's Relative, Remy D here on YouTube. And don't forget, if you want to support, it's really easy. You can do the memberships below, the Adventurers Guild, 3 different tiers. There's also the super thanks on any uploaded video or YouTube short that you find. There's also, of course, the super chats and stickers that you could do on any live stream or premiere, and the Patreon page if you want to dive into the fantasy world that I have with my brother and my wife, which is a tabletop game, a point-and-click adventure game, and a fantasy book series. All are great ways to keep this channel going and me going full-time. Thanks again for those of you who support. Let's get back to the video that you're watching now. So there's all this stuff that I just don't understand. Pets and mounts and codexes, these are all kind of straightforwards. I haven't even gotten into raids or a lot of this stuff like the stronghold community, because all this stuff is grayed out because this is for later on in the game. But here's the thing.
Everything's
When I come in and
spinning.
play a game, I want, especially if I'm a new player, I need to be told everything about the game, and I need to be able to learn the game as I go along. Since I have started this game, the only tutorial I was given was the very basic tutorial at the very, very, very beginning of the game that teaches you how to shoot your guns and run around the map. Everything since then, and I'm level, 14 now, and granted, that means I'm not horribly deep into the game. I'm probably a half a dozen hours at this point, and some people are going to say, well, you can't give an honest review of a game after half a dozen hours, and I'm going to rebut that and say, yes, I can, because if I'm half a dozen hours into a game and I'm confused about how to play the game, and the game's not telling me all this information, but they're throwing all this stuff at me, and all of these roster cards and all these other things and collectibles, and here's an event loot, and here's a login loot, and here's this loot for this special thing, and here's this other loot because it's a free-to-play game, and we want to give you all these things because we want to inspire you to open these boxes and go to the cash shop and blah, 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 blah. That's a problem because you're not actually explaining how to play the game to me. You're just throwing things at me and expecting me to just sort of understand it. Now, this game hasn't been out that long, so I have
Repairs are
questions
almost
for people who
complete.
played this game. Is this just because they didn't port these things over that well, or are they expecting the people who play this game to already know these things because they played the Eastern version of the game before it was ported over to the West? I don't know. Those are some of the questions I have. Now, getting into dialogue, I have had complaints about how bad the... Okay, so here's another example here. Like, what's rapport? To unlock rapport, complete what's in a name. Well, what's that? I'm assuming it's a quest, but okay. But she has this quest. You're new to Pride Home, aren't you? So you've come to my tavern and met me. That means you've already seen half the village. Ha 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 ha! That is really bad writing. Like, really bad writing. And I've commented on this in live streams and beyond that I think the writing in this game is some of the worst I've ever seen. Also the voiceovers, the voice acting, the breathiness, the constantly, you know, being out of breath and gasping at things, which I don't understand why they're doing that at all. But I can kind of get past that given the fact that the game, visually, the game looks really good. I'm skipping through the dialogue. My name is Kenna, and I can feel my face getting red from embarrassment. I haven't said that name in a long time. Why would you care? Like, that's the kind of writing that I think is just really bad. Like, here's my name, and I'm embarrassed for telling you my name because I never use my real name. Oh my god, ooh woo. Ooh woo. That's the stuff that drives me nuts. So, visually... Oh, also, like, I don't even know how I got this thing where when I step on the ground, I leave, like, green bunny face footprints. Like, I don't know how that happened. But that's one of those things that I just don't understand.
Pride Home is a city rich with religious history. The lion statue in the village square honors the priests who battled against the demons. City residents set aside time every day to offer prayers of gratitude to those priests.
So visually, this game looks stunning.
From the outside, Pride Home appears to be a normal village. But it's actually one of the holiest places in the world. Pride Home remains a popular pilgrimage destination.
And that sounds like it was written for Google search. Certain quests can be completed only in the main quest and complete them by clicking ongoing quests. Click to close ongoing quests complete. Okay. So we've completed that. Yay. So then as I run around the game, there's things like...
So, got any news?
It gives off a gentle, pleasing aroma. Like, there's these things that you can find. Bokoku seed points. What are those for?
Hey,
I don't
have
know.
you heard? Demons have appeared on Ankumo Mountain.
It says something about you earned 180 roster XP. Well, what's roster XP, and why am I earning roster XP and not XP towards my main
I
character?
saw they fully restored the stone tablet at the cathedral.
Questions. I have lots of questions.
Let's see if there's a useful tool.
Anyway, the game looks visually amazing. The gameplay is really smooth. I like the way it plays. But I think the thing that ultimately is making me not have a very good time is just the fact that as I'm sort of just plowing through the main storyline, I'm seeing lots of, like, on the map right now, you can see all of these quests and items and things around me, right? So obviously there's a quest over here for this person, multiple quests all the way around. There's tons of objects that I can interact with that you can see on the map. Some of those are self-explanatory, like the potion merchant, I should say.
So,
But
any
then
news?
coming over here, it's like, well, what is this chest? Storage keep? What is that, like the bank? I'm assuming that's the bank. What's a mail carrier coming? That's assuming the mail system. Like, obviously, if I read this, you know, it tells me what they are, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm missing sort of like the new user experience where they tell you all of these things and walk you through it. And maybe that's just the person, you know, that's the critic inside of me that goes, you know, for a AAA game, I feel like there's a lot lacking in terms of tutorials because, yeah. Also, I would say I've been playing this game for half a dozen hours. I have 1.8 million, hang on, look at that up there, 1.8 million silver. And I've been playing the game for less than 10 hours. How is that even possible? I'll tell you how it's possible, because all of these ridiculous chests that I keep getting every time I get logged into the game give me ridiculous amounts of silver. Like this one giving me 20,000 silver.
So, got any news?
That makes no sense why you would be giving me that much coin as a new player. I don't understand that at all. Please don't tell anyone else. It's a secret between you and me. My name. It makes me so embarrassed. It's my secret. Ooh. Different NPCs see different things and you earn virtue points to be better liked by NPCs. So I'm being given a pop-up, which is nice. I've earned a virtue point, which is kind of cool. Anyway, let's really quick here. I want to. Where do I need to go for the next quest? It's over there.
Have you heard? Demons have appeared.
Demons, and that's the other thing that I find
Weather we're having today.
somewhat
Repairs were completed sooner
confusing.
than we
It's like there's
expected.
this very generic
Tribulations and
backstory
joy
of the
are
Ark
part of the
and
gods'
demons, and everything revolves around the Ark and the demons. And why? There's no explanation of any of that.
It says here that in order to find the Ark of King Lutera, you need the Sword Seal and the Eagle Seal.
Also,
The
those bare
Sword
shoulders.
Seal lies beneath the salt desert of Udia in the kingdom of Morai. However, in order to get to Udia, you'll have to cross the rugged mountains of Ankumo. I will pray for your safe passage in this arduous journey. May Regulus, the Lord of all gods, watch over you.
And you as well, Father Verut.
We prepared a horse for you.
Okay, thank you for the horse. You can use a card item to add it to your card catalog. Okay, so I'm finally getting a little bit more tutorial pop-ups. I don't know what this means. It just tells me that it's a card. The leader of the Toxiclars. But it still hasn't given me any tutorial about what the freaking cards are for.
If your
Why?
destination is Udia, it will be a long journey across the borders.
Okay. Alright. So in short, everybody, I know that I sound like I'm ranting a lot about this game, and that's perhaps a little bit true. If I had to give this game a final review on a scale of 1 to 10, I might only give it like a 6. Visually, it looks good. The gameplay is, when I say gameplay, I mean the actual combat gameplay is smooth. It's fun. The exploration is fun. The world looks beautiful. The character models are pretty cool looking. I'm not a huge fan of the art style, but they look pretty good other than my shoulderless But hey, you know what? I'm a gunslinger, and I'm packing more guns than just the ones in my hand. Cha-ching! Ultimately, at the end of the day, the gameplay part of it is fun. However, I can't stand the voiceovers. Some of them are good, some of them are really bad. The writing is pretty bad across the board. I'd give the writing like a 2 or a 3 out of 10. Voice acting, I'd give like a 4 out of 10. Gameplay, I'd give like a 7 or 8 out of 10. The entire UI is a hot mess that doesn't tell me anything and just is like a confused, muddled mess of like all of these just so many. Why do I need so many menus, right? Like, I'm a character, give me my stat page, give me my abilities page, you know, a crafting tab, but instead you're giving me, like, I have no idea what the roster is, even after all this time. Character panel has some stuff on it that I know, but other stuff I don't. Like, what is this book of coordination? What are mass presets? I don't know. What's faction rank info? I don't know. What about adventures? What's an integrated dungeon? I don't know. What's the Bifrost? I don't know. What are Una's tasks? I don't know. What's the training area? I don't know. What's a stronghold community? I don't know. None of it's been explained to me, and obviously if it's grayed out, it means I probably haven't gotten to it yet. But I also feel like there's just an overwhelming amount of just fluffy shit thrown at me out of the gate, like all of these Makoko things, which I don't like, cute little bunny pets. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, that doesn't have anything to do with the game. Like, that just feels like the whole, and this is why I had a hard time getting into Final Fantasy XIV, because at the end of the day, I felt like it was all just, you know, that ooh woo, ooh woo. What do they call it? The gachu or whatever they call? I don't know. I'm not a big fan. At the end of the day, is this game worth it? I think it really depends. If you like the uwu style of gameplay and being bombarded with continual like login rewards and things that are telling you go do this daily, go do this event, go do this, and this, then yeah, maybe this game is for you. But if you're someone like me who likes good storyline and good writing and you need a quality story to immerse yourself in the game, this might not be for you. I'm having a really hard time getting into this game, and to be honest with you, I doubt I'll continue it past this review. I did find some elements of the game to be fun, but for me, at the end of the day, I just don't think there's enough here. I'll probably try to give it another 5 to 6 hours, try to get to like 10 or 12 hours and see if anything else changes. But man, if a game hasn't got me within the first 5 to 6 hours, it's usually not gonna take me any longer than that to actually get into the game, because if it can't do it within those first few hours, it's not going to get me by the end of the day. Anyway, food for thought. Love to hear your thoughts on this game. Drop them down in the comments below. See you next time, everybody.